'cause I don't got lights. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year with big. baby.
Hey, everybody, welcome to 2218's Attitude for Gratitude. This is Tad, and you know I'm with my best friend, JP. Say hi, JP.
What's up? What's up, Tad? What's up, Tim?
Some people might be confused because JP came in second, but this is a holiday show, and JP is our annual guest host with us. And this is what we're doing every Christmas. We didn't know that when it started, but you can introduce Tim whenever you want, or you can talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Well, thanks, Tad. I really appreciate that. Since I'm a guest host, it's a pleasure being here, man. It's an honor to be in the presence of you guys, man. I've just been trying to do my thing, I guess. And I just want to introduce my brother, my sponsee brother, Tim.
Hey kids, it's Timmy J here. Tad, happy Merry Christmas. JP, happy Merry Christmas. We already got a house full of people. This is going to be blow up tonight. So I'm going to just kind of break a few things down. First and foremost, we are having this from 2218 as we do every week. Would you want to grab his phone and throw it as hard as you can against the wall, please? Yes, 2218. That is where we bring you guys this podcast from. And if you are able to, please follow the link and donate if you can, or come on down and volunteer some time. Other than that, we're going to get this show banging because tonight it's going to be an awesome show. We've got so much to give away. We've got Hope Dealer stuff. We got stuff from Cowboys. We got so much stuff given. Shirts. We got sober and serious shirts. We got gift cards, Chick-fil-A, Target, Cowboy Jacks. We got so much stuff. And what we're going to be doing to give these away is we're going to be asking some trivia about the recovery world. And we're going to even get some serious questions about things that have been brought up only on the show. And
We got Christmas stories. Did you tell them that?
oh my gosh, that's one of the biggest highlights. We've got these Christmas books, Christmas stories. We got Santa Claus in the house. We got Mrs. Claus in the house. We're going to try to hold tears back from her when she reads. But we got like 10 or 12 Christmas stories being read tonight. We got the famous Bob S. in the house, MJ.
Chelsea's on a mic.
Chelsea's on. Talk to us loudly.
Merry Christmas, guys. Good to be here.
Ooh,
Feeling
yeah.
super blessed and super grateful.
Oh, greens? How'd you get some greens?
Nice.
So I'm just going to shout out 2218. This is where this all takes place, and 2218 helps us do that. So there'll be a link in the comments if you want to help support 2218.
Shout out to 2218.
Come on down tomorrow from 1 to 4 for a free Christmas dinner that we're cooking. I'll be helping post it, but Vic is slaving away in the kitchen right now.
Yep.
And so I'm
Tad got a bowl of greens. I got none.
Quick story. That he asked me if I would help as a board member, and I said I would help on one condition: that he made his greens.
Yeah, you did tell me that.
Yep.
But then wait a sec. Does he know I got roped into helping? So where's my bowl of greens?
Well, this is the sample bowl. They still got to cook all night.
Oh yeah, that just
I'll take a bite and hand them over to you.
That's my man after everyone else. So, like I said, tonight is just going to be really jam-packed with some past guests, some highlighted people coming in and out. Like I said, the Christmas story thing I think is going to be awesome. JP is going to be reading. Jordan's going to be reading.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish, eventually we're going to figure a way where we can get some pictures up because, like I said, we got Rob Claus in the house and Jordan Claus in the house, like dressed
Mrs.
up.
Claus.
Everyone's,
Mrs. Claus.
yeah, Mrs. Claus. This is going to be
JP's
fire
green
time.
and red, looking smooth.
I'm in a festive spirit.
Oh,
Holiday.
Ted, did you even notice my new Harley shirt?
Oh, that's nice.
I thought it was the same one you've been wearing.
Custom. Just got it from my brother tonight.
That's nice. That's
It
cool.
says Timmy on it.
Oh,
Timmy on
Timmy.
Like, legit.
I think, Timmy, I think that we should get into some stuff. So let's give away. Let's chop it up.
Let's chop it up.
Let's give away.
Wait, how are we going to, how do the guests win prizes? Do they have to be,
How do you win prizes? So you have to be listening right now, and we're going to ask questions, and you answer in the comment. And then upon answering in the comment, we're going to write your name down, and you will get a hold of Tim or myself.
Yeah, you're supposed to say, I'm glad you asked.
Oh, I'm glad you asked.
Yeah.
But that's why you're here, so I don't have to think today. In a second, I'm going to hop off the mic, so there's an extra mic, and JP and Tim are going to kind of take the show over, and we're going to have people reading books and giving away prizes.
now remember, We're doing this directly from 2218's Attitude for Gratitude live stream on Facebook. You can listen to it from multiple other ways, but that's where we're going to see anyone responding, and that's where we're going to get the questions out to and get them from.
Go to the page,
Yes.
2218's Attitude for Gratitude. Go straight to the page, and that way we will see your comments.
Share it from this page, yes. Speaking of that, Tad, are you able to, or we're just sharing just directly from this page?
Yep.
The one that says 2218's Attitude for
Yep.
Gratitude live.
That's where I've been sharing.
Okay, perfect.
So if you clicked on a link you've seen in another site or on like mine or Tim's, just go to 2218's Attitude for Gratitude on Facebook. Just go straight there and get that stream, and then we will see. I'm going to turn the show over to you guys. I think we should get a story read.
Right
Kelsey
away.
and Leon are here. Let's get them in, and maybe they can talk about what they're giving away.
Yeah. Who's up to bat first? JP, you want to do this?
Good to see my player partner Leon over there. I just want to shout him out. You know what I'm saying? One of my one of the first brothers that I met in my recovery journey. And he showed me some love, man, and I just want to let you know that I love you, man, and I really appreciate that.
I love you too, bro. You were looking real sad when I first met you.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, yeah.
Nice, you know? It's really good to be here, man. I really appreciate getting invited always to help out anywhere, anything. I love it. I love this recovery. How you guys doing? Everybody doing good?
We doing good, man. A little tired, but you know, it's nothing. You know, it's nothing.
Chelsea just got in town from Duluth. We spent the last couple of days up in the North Shore,
Yeah,
getting that peace and serenity where
nice.
humans ain't messed it up too bad yet. You know?
Right.
It's really nice out there.
We had a good time today, man. We did some outreach at the church, man. Christmas gifts for the kids, man. At ICCM Life Center, passed out like gifts to like 300 families or something like that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so it was. We had a long day, but those type of days are like worth it. You know what I mean? It's you know, it's just I'm just grateful I get the chance to do it. You know.
Opportunity to see those smiles.
Yeah, yeah,
It's the best thing I get to see these days.
yeah.
I love it. I also wanted to say we just lost another guy in recovery. My buddy Scott Roman, our buddy.
Mm.
I don't know. I just got a phone call this morning. One of my good friends hoped he wouldn't ruin my Christmas. And yeah, my dude just got out of treatment and relapse and overdose.
This thing's real.
It's real, man.
This thing's real. That's why we're doing what we do here tonight. Things like this, things like you guys have brought to the table with this, the bowling, and we try to make that real clear to people. Like, it's easier said than done a lot of times. But this whole thing of like just get connected. Bob's a big component of that. Like early recovery for me, getting connected with people that are doing things.
Please.
Right.
As weird as it feels, all the anxiety and the can I swear on this?
It's your show, bro.
Absolutely. All the bullshit that our addiction or disease or what we think is our thinking that tells us we're not good enough, tells us we shouldn't reach out. Like we gotta fight through those feelings, those bullshit lying feelings, and just ask. Ask somebody. Ask God, ask your mom, ask somebody in recovery that you might look up to.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody talks a good game in a meeting. But
Right.
You're gonna find out what it's worth when you hit them up.
That's right.
You know?
Like I've been going to this new NA meeting at 6:30 on Wednesday, and the address is
2229 Broadway Avenue West.
and it's a great growing NA meeting. But like I've listened to JP share, not to break his anonymity when he's sharing, but he'll tell the world this is like he sat in the back for like that first year and a half or whatever. But
It was like 2.
and it felt real. and he shares about how uncomfortable it was. You know, you're experiencing these people hugging and doing these things, looking, smiling, and in the back of his mind's like, that's BS. We're not used to seeing that when we come from that life of before recovery. And then all of a sudden, the longer you stick around, you just realize like it's real. People really are happy.
It's real.
People are really out here doing fun things together. And it's like, fortunately, he stuck around long enough, but like Leon's saying, like, don't wait. Like it's out there for the taking and it's free. We do this thing together. Opposite of addiction is
Human connection.
connection.
Without reaching out, without finding something new, we don't know what we're missing. You know, big time.
Sorry to hear about your loss.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, that's
Our loss.
Sorry to hear about that.
So JP,
Yeah.
let's get into a story, bro.
Oh,
And I'm gonna give my seat up to Bob.
okay. Well, since I'm in the
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas to you, Bob. Good to see you, man. Good to be, grace your presence. You know what I
Blessed
mean?
to be here.
Just you know, and I just want to piggyback what off Tim had said, man. It's I sat there until it came real to me, you know, because it was something. It's something that told me like, hey, man, you know what? These guys are happy. People are prospering in their life, and you know, this recovery thing might work. Let me just sit back and just see how this plays out. That's the
Early
best
on,
decision
hanging
I
in
made
the,
in my
back,
life.
in the back of the room, we used to call it relapse row.
Oh, I had my few cents, but I stuck it out. You know, I stuck it out, and
And it's worth it.
it was definitely worth it. And I just you know, I appreciate you guys being in the room, like Leon and you, and just showing like us the way. You know, showing.
I'll say this till the day I die. I'm so proud to have tried this to see that it does work, than have sat back and wondered if it would have.
Right, exactly.
I'm Bob Schill, and I'm an alcoholic.
Hey, Bob.
A very grateful one.
Bobby.
I think I'm reading, right? Let me see. So am I reading this whole thing, or what am I doing? Just giving 2-3 bars or something, or the whole book?
Yeah, we need.
Oh.
I think we need a title and an author
this
and
is-
an illustrator, and you know.
My
You
name
just
is
started walking upright 2 weeks ago, and you want him to read?
my name is
I'm teasing, brother.
my name is JP. I don't have no fist like you, man. So I got to read these books.
Attaboy.
I'm reading Pete the Cat Saves Christmas.
Get after it, Pete.
Created and illustrated by James Dean. Story by Eric Litwin. Read by
Narrated
JP.
by.
Narrated by JP.
Word.
'Twas the day before Christmas, and Santa was ill. In the cold winter wind, he had caught a bad chill. Will Christmas be canceled? Will it come to that? Never, cried Santa. Let's call Peter the cat. Santa asked Pete to deliver the toys to all the good girls and all the good boys. I'll do it, said Pete. And although I am small, at Christmas we give, so I'll give it my all. Give it your all, give it your all. At Christmas we give, so give it your all.
Yeah, boy.
Pete jumped in his minibus and started to roll. Road trip, cried Pete. First stop, the North Pole.
Yeah.
The reindeer were waiting to give Pete a tow. So he packed up the presents and told them to go.
Yeah.
Then the minibus flew, just like in a movie. Peter the cat cried, "This is totally groovy."
Yeah.
I can do it, said Pete, and although I am small, at Christmas we give, so I'll give it my all. Give it your all, give it your all. At Christmas we give, so give it your all. As the children were sleeping all snug in their beds, Pete and his reindeer appeared overhead. Straight down the chimney, Pete flew in a dash, then back to his minibus, quick as a flash. Each time he delivered a holiday gift, he crossed off a name written on Santa's list. Santa's list was so big and Pete felt so small, but at Christmas we give, so he gave it his all. Give it your all, give it your all. At Christmas we give, so give it your all. At the very last minute, they reached the last house. Pete dashed in and out, just as a quiet mouse. Then right at the break of the new Christmas day, Pete and his reindeer were flying away. Back at the North Pole, old Santa was waiting. The elves and the town folks were all celebrating. Santa was dressed in his red coat and hat and cried, "Hip, hip, hooray for our friend Peter the cat."
Yeah.
I did it, said Pete, and although I am small, in the spirit of Christmas, I gave it my all.
Yeah,
Give
buddy.
it your all, give it your all. At Christmas we give, so give it your all. The end.
Ho, ho, ho. My friend done gripped it and ripped it, knocked it out of the park.
So thank you, JP. What we're gonna do now is Bob is gonna read a question for a giveaway of this beautiful rock that Leon and Chelsea brought. It's would you want to explain what it is in detail? This rock, it's beautiful.
Sure, guys. We just brought a really nice face polished. It's sliced open an agate. It's got some beautiful banding. I don't know how much it weighs, but it's a pretty good size. It's a nice little chunk, fits in your hand.
About 6 ounces, I know that.
At least 6 ounces. So for any rock
do that no more,
lovers,
yeah.
rock hounds out there that are into that kind of thing, it is a beautiful specimen that we wanted to bring and share. Give it our all with the Christmas spirit, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's actually got a geo center, if anybody knows what that means too.
So it's a very, very unique rock. It's a one of a kind.
Looks sweet. Yeah.
So yes, Bob's gonna read that off, and then just get your answers in the direct. Yeah, put your answers in there, and we're gonna keep moving on, and we'll get the prizes out to the right person. Go ahead, Roberto.
So, let's get into a piece of trivia.
Piece of trivia.
Here's a pretty simple one. What year did the AMA, American Medical Association, designate alcoholism as a disease? Whoever knows that answer and comes up with it first, we'll read it again. What year did the American Medical Association designate alcoholism as a disease?
Now, I have a question, guys. Is cheating allowed in this? Are people allowed to Google at home?
However you can get the answer.
All right. So be resourceful, everybody. Be resourceful.
Yeah, make sure you be resourceful.
Text your sponsor or whatever you have to do.
So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna have Jordan come on, and she's gonna read a Christmas story for all you boys and girls out there.
Yeah, Jordan, Mrs. AKA Mrs. Christmas, Mrs. Christmas.
Jordan
Mrs.
is
Claus.
not just Jordan right now, ladies and gentlemen.
She's Mrs. Claus.
She is Mrs. Claus.
Christmas, everybody.
Now that's a cute Mrs. Claus right there.
Can we give a shout out to the benefit?
We do have a winner already of the agate, and it is MJ. Congratulations, MJ.
Hey, congratulations, MJ. Congratulations.
We also we have a good friend of ours who has stage 4 esophageal cancer, and we are having a benefit for our good friend Carl Gallagher on January 14th. It's going to be at Free Grace United Church. There's going to be a spaghetti dinner and silent auction. We
Yeah.
donated.
1423 Lowry Avenue.
Thank you, Santa.
Yeah, thanks, Santa.
And we were donated wild tickets for the silent auction, which is pretty incredible. We have a DJ. We will be having a dance afterwards. And we are looking for silent auction donations. So if you have a special talent, a gift, a hobby, a craft, anything, are you an artist? Do you make jewelry? Do you want to put together gift baskets? I mean, everything is appreciated, and so everything helps. Everything helps. So I mean, if you feel so inclined, I mean, we're willing to drive to pick up donations. Whatever you need, we'll figure it out. Okay, Rob, you got anything?
Prayers
Santa,
and
that's
positive
Santa.
vibes are welcome.
Yes.
That's
Prayers
Santa.
and positive vibes.
Oh, yeah.
Prayers and
Always
positive
welcome.
vibes.
Keep them going.
Come on out, let's support our friend people.
Yeah, speaking of that,
Yeah.
if anyone needs to know how they can donate or give for this cause, you can reach out directly to Tad or myself. We'll both put our phone numbers up, but as always, you can find me at Timothy J. Warren on Facebook and Tad Ackerman on Facebook.
And JP on Facebook. Say something. Yeah, y'all. Yeah, I know how to get a hold of them.
It's a sponsee fam.
It's a sponsee family. You know what I mean? That's our daddy, Santa Claus over
I'm gonna do
there.
my best to get through this story without crying. I'm not gonna lie. First one had me
Oh,
choked
come
up.
on,
I
let's
took a
just-
break. I started
She was
crying.
crying over
Let's
there.
be real. You was being real when them tears were shedding, girl. Don't be hiding yourself. Don't you dare hide yourself.
Okay.
That's called a gift.
Tonight we have Peace, the Christmas Bear by Tom Haig, illustrated by Warren Hansen. Once upon a polar night, so many years ago, while starlight sparkled slightly upon the hills of snow, the elves in Santa's workshop heard a jolly laughing call. They put aside their work and made their way down the long hall. To Santa Claus, who said, there is a job I need to do, and I'm going to need the help of every one of you. Please bring a piece of cloth to me you prize above the rest. They tried to guess at Santa's plan while walking to the chest. They held the bolts of fabric for the clothing and the toys they made each year for Christmas for the world's girls and boys. And every elf, as Santa asked, picked out one special piece and brought it back to Santa Claus and placed it by the fleece that Santa used for stuffing. Then by the golden candle glow, they watched with growing wonder as the man began to sew. A scrap of blue, a seam of pink, some green, some red, some brown. Why, every color there was running up and down. The front and sides and underneath of what was forming there. And Santa, a handmade masterpiece, a brand new Christmas bear. And just before the last few stitches as a final touch, dear Santa said, a little bear who means so very much has got to have a way to say his name, now don't you think? The elves all nodded yes, then Santa Claus, quick as a wink, installed a little button in the tummy of the bear, and then he said, now all I need to do is touch it there. And as he did, all the elves were stunned beyond belief. The little bear had sprung to life and sung out his name, Peef. So Peef, the many-colored Christmas bear, had come to be. And how he'd ever done without Santa, or how he'd ever done without him, Santa couldn't see. For Peef became his chief assistant, Peef became his friend. Peef would have to leaf through all the letters the kids would send. But when he read them, oftentimes his heart would feel a tug. Dear Santa Claus, please send me a teddy bear that I can hug. Peef loved his life with Santa. Oh, he gloried in the ride. He'd taken Santa's flying sleigh each year at Christmas tide. He played with all the reindeer, fed them grain, shave after shave. They shook their harness bells as if to say, glad welcome, Peef. The elves would see themselves in him and ask how he was. He'd peef with blushing thanks, and they would praise his plushy fuzz. For Peef, like all who lived with Santa in the polar cold, was ever new. As he stayed, he would never grow old. So Christmas after Christmas, Peef would climb up in the sleigh and peef goodbye to all the toys that Santa would give away. But sometimes he would hear a piercing squeal of purest joy, a dream that he was in the magic first hug from a boy, or a girl who'd maybe dressed him up or ask him out to tea, or tell him all their worries in pledge of secrecy. Sometimes he'd steal a peefy peek in a frosted pane, and there he'd see a teddy bear smeared red with candy cane. Oh, how he wished with every color of his coat that he belonged to someone who would sit him in a boat, who would take him in the backyard and the blown-up wading pool, who'd try and try again to sneak him in with them to school. His colors would grow brighter as the dreams became more real. He'd peef with sheer belief. He felt, he could feel. But when the sleigh was empty and the reindeer made for home, the dream would end like always and turn just north of Nome. The days were very busy, scarcely time for idle pause, beside the barely ever stopping likes of Santa Claus. Peef peefed a happy melody that sweetened up the air. Wherever he was working, Peef's bright baritone was there. He owed so much to Santa, and that's why he was afraid to tell the kind man the truth. It seemed so hard. It was that he didn't love to be with Santa Claus, but still, no matter how he tried to hide his heart's desire, he'd find himself with Santa sipping cocoa by the fire. And as the burning logs would pop and hiss, he'd start to stare. And there, within the flames, he'd see a vision of a bear, who looked just like him, lying right beside a sleeping child, exactly as a teddy bear was meant to do. A wild excitement would grow through him, and he'd jump in Santa's lap. He'd almost say, please take me to the elves and let them wrap me up in Christmas paper. Let them take me to the sleigh. Oh, Santa, how I love you, but you must give me away. But every time he tried one breath before he had it said, he stopped himself, hugged Santa tightly, and then he went to bed. Oh. And so 1 year became the next, and Peef, the Christmas bear, remained at Santa's side, and never looked the worse for wear. For passing time had no effect in Santa's magic land, and tears repaired themselves with just a touch of Santa's hand. And jelly stains don't happen, nor do button eyes get lost. And stuffing is replaced when needed, never mind the cost. One Christmas Eve, while children dreamt of what was soon to be, and Peef was dreaming back, oh, how I wish it could be me. He rode as he had always done, right there by Santa's side. They made their way around the earth with the starlight as their guide. And then, just as the reindeer turned to make for home again, fiercely at one old familiar turn just north of Nome, the sleigh came to an altogether unexpected halt, while Santa Claus had stopped it. Then he said, it's all my fault. Now, Peef, how many years have I been doing this? A ton? And I can't believe it. I'm short of toys, and yet just by one. But there was something special in the tone of Santa's voice that told the little bear that this mistake was made by choice. And Peef looked up to Santa, but the old man looked ahead. His eyes alight, I'm not sure just what. Then Santa said, we have a special duty to the children, you and I. We have to think of them before we think of ourselves. We can't forget a single one, and you know the reason why. Besides, we have to set a good example for the elves. I guess what I'm trying to say is, then he could say no more. And for a little time they sat together on the shore of Christmas Day that watched the far horizon of night. As the sleigh began to move again, a growing light began to show against the inky canopy sky of night. Until the bright aurora borealis filled the eye of heaven, oh, the colors that adorn the Christmas air, all radiating from the heart of a small teddy bear. For soon a little girl or boy would say, Peef, I love you. The little fellow peefed for joy, his dream was coming true. The sleigh alighted on a humble roof, then Santa said, say, little friend, you better trim your light, they're still in bed. It's Christmas Eve, the neighborhood should still be fast asleep. They stepped out on the drifted snow, so cold, so white, so deep. Then Santa held a little bear he'd made so long ago, with bits of cloth from all the elves, and then he said, you know. But Peef's expression stopped his words, for Peef was well aware that Santa wouldn't be around to fix each rip and tear. Here, jelly stains happen, button eyes just might get lost, but this is where he was meant to be, no matter what the cost. And giving up that little bear he'd made with his own hands from all the colors of earth, embracing in the bands, was how upon that special night with blessings from each elf that Santa Claus had given so much completely of himself. The little teddy bear made Santa smile from ear to ear by saying with a twinkle, I'll be seeing you next year. So Santa's fingers pointed toward the tummy of the bear, and then he said, now all I need to do is touch right there. And as he vanished, one small child was thrilled beyond belief, for right beside a pillow, a little bear said, Peef.
Oh, yeah! Thank you so much, Jordan. That was awesome sauce. All right, that means time for another prize round. We've got 2 extra large sober and serious shirts, and a Dr. Bob book that's getting all as one gift tonight. That question, autographed Dr. Bob book. That's correct by 2. Tim and Tad.
No, those are some famous people
We're
right
as
there.
famous as it gets. So we've got, you know what?
So, Bob, the trivia buff here.
Go ahead, Bob.
All right, let's get the answer to this question. Who wrote the chapter on acceptance, page 417, or in the earlier versions of the big book, page 449? Who wrote the chapter on acceptance?
There you go. Put that on, and the first one who comes up with the answer, we'll let you know you got it. And the first 2 people. Oh, I thought we were just going to give that as a prize pack. No. You know what? Now I think about it, the first 2 people, one will get a shirt and a book. So 2 people. Because that last one, we did have 3 correct answers, but MJ was the first to get it in. So now, what we're doing here, if MJ is... So each shirt gets a book. Let's put it that way. It's another kind. Well, you got to put it in the chat lines. So you got to get on. You got to put it on the Facebook chat. So MJ, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Mary Jo, and I'm an alcoholic.
Thank you and Bob both for coming to support the show. Past guests and now they're
Absolutely.
guests tonight. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am blessed. I get to see the people I love in recovery surrounding me tonight, and it's great. Keith just showed up. We got Ken in the house. Oh, we got so many people. Did you want to read a story to us?
I can do that.
All right. Well, and then after she's done reading, I think we're going to hit up 2 or 3. I got a teaser of we got some wild tickets happening on our show tonight, so stick around. Cowboy Jack gift cards, big famous paintings, Native American paintings, just lots of stuff. Take her away, MJ.
Okay, thanks, Tim. I'm happy to be here, and Merry Christmas to all, and hope you're all having a good night. Okay, so the story I'm reading is The Bear Who Slept Through Christmas. It's a story by John Barrett, and its illustrations are by Rick Reinert Productions, and it was developed by the LaFave Company. All right, so here we go. While the rest of the world is getting ready for Christmas, bears are getting ready for bed. In fact, from a quarter till winter until about half past spring, bears do nothing but sleep. Hibernate, we call it. Most bears have never heard of Christmas. Henry Bear was sleepy even on a wide-awake day. But now that fall was here, Henry was very tired. If it hadn't been for his roommate, Henry probably wouldn't have been able to wake up for work. Ted Edward Bear was Henry's roommate. Ted was a different sort of bear. He had an inquiring mind. In other words, he was curious. The thing that made Ted curious was Christmas. Henry, have you ever heard of something called Christmas? Ted asked. Ted E. Bear first read about Christmas in a book at Grizzly University. He tried to explain it to his friend Henry. There is this place called Christmas where you hear beautiful music and you find wonderful gifts. There's a big human with a white beard and a red suit. He's in charge of Christmas. Isn't that amazing, Henry? Zzz. Henry did not have an inquiring mind. The other bears laughed. Are you kidding? Giggled Foster Bear. A big red human? You're a silly dreamer, sighed Patty Bear. But Ted went right on dreaming. He dreamed of being the first bear to find Christmas. This could be as important as Admiral Bear's discovery of the East Pole, Ted declared. Unfortunately, Ted was dreaming when he should have been working. Ted's boss was furious. Explain this mess, he yelled. Well, sir, Ted began, I was thinking about Christmas and the honey sort of got away from me. The owner of the organic honey works fumed. A bear should not think about 2 things at once. I didn't get where I am by thinking. I know, agreed Ted, but Christmas is supposed to be a wonderful place. There are lights and music and a big human in a red suit. Then go find it, Ted's boss interrupted, and wherever it is, stay there. Ted E. Bear, yes, that's his name, Teddy Bear. Ted E. Bear studied the airline schedules. He hoped a flight might take him to Christmas. Where would you like to go? Asked the Bear air ticket clerk. I'd like to fly to Christmas, Ted answered, or at least a nearby airport. The ticket bear stared at Ted. He began to laugh. The laughter grew to a roar. He shouted to the line of waiting bears, "We've got a bear who wants to go to Christmas." More bears laughed. While the rest of the bears flew off on winter hibernation vacations, Ted E. Bear set out on foot to find Christmas. One sleepy evening, Ted climbed over a hill and saw a brightly lit city. His heart jumped. I must be getting close to Christmas, he said. When he reached the city, Ted tried to talk to several passersby. He shouted, but the cars and people made so much noise, nobody heard the little bear. Wait, what's that? Ted cocked his little bear head. Over the noise of the traffic, he heard beautiful music. The sound came from a magnificent building. Ted scrambled up the steps and looked inside. A choir sang. The young bear decided it must be the music of Christmas. But if I can hear the music, Ted thought, Christmas must be very close by. His heart beat faster. He rubbed his sleepy eyes and walked down a busy street. He glanced in a store window and stopped in amazement. The store was full of the most wonderful gifts the young bear had ever seen. There are the gifts, Ted said aloud. He pushed open the door and climbed into the store window to talk with the toys. Is this the place where Christmas is? Ted asked eagerly. Not here, a toy soldier said, and saluted smartly. Ted was confused. Ted turned to a pretty dancing doll and said, I heard the music, and you are the most beautiful gifts I have ever seen. How far away can Christmas be? It's very close, the doll replied, but somebody must buy us before the store closes or we'll have to go back to the storeroom for a whole year. Ted noticed a little girl looking in the store window at him. What about her? He asked. I don't think she can afford us, said the soldier. Ted heard the click of a lock and the lights in the store began to go off. Oh no, cried the doll. Ted was trapped in a store where Christmas wasn't. He tried every door and window. Then back in the stockroom, where the toys would have to go until next Christmas, Ted spied a window. He reached and stretched and climbed, and he tumbled out into an alley. Ted picked himself up, dashed to the street, and kabump! He ran smack into a big human wearing a red suit. Ted E. Bear was wide-eyed with wonder. He held his hat politely and said, I am looking for a place called Christmas. Can you help me? The man in the red suit held Ted in his arms. My goodness, he chuckled. Do you realize you'd be the very first bear to ever find Christmas? Yes, sir, Ted nodded. Well then, said the kind gentleman, let me explain. Christmas is a way of giving. It is a way of sharing, a way of loving. Ted appeared puzzled. You mean it isn't a place? The man smiled. It is, little bear, he said warmly, but the place is in your heart. Ted frowned a tired frown. That's a very hard for a bear to understand, he said. It is hard for people to understand, said the gentleman. He handed Ted a note. Here, he said, this is an address where you'll find Christmas. Tired Ted E. Bear thanked the man and walked down the street. The building at the address didn't seem to be anything special. Can this be the right address? Ted wondered. He looked up. A few lights flickered in the window above. He climbed the stairs to the house. Ted E. Bear stood in the room with the lighted tree. He yawned and looked about. The gifts weren't nearly as wonderful as those in the store. And there was no music. There must be a mistake, Ted said aloud. The little bear was very tired. All the rest of the bears had been asleep for weeks. Ted crawled under the tree to rest, just for a minute. As he rested, a door opened. A little girl tiptoed into the room. It was the same little girl who had looked at Ted through the store window. Her eyes opened wide and sparkled with a happy tear. A little bear, she whispered. She reached down and lifted Ted in her arms. And suddenly, the air was filled with beautiful music. The lights on the tree shimmered. Ted Edward Bear found Christmas. And he still lives there today.
Yay! Woo! Thank you, MJ.
You're welcome.
So, we do have a winner from the last drawing. It was Jordan, Mrs. Claus. Thank you. Great job. We still need someone else. Oh, well, I gave the answer. Wait, I think we do have someone else on there. So, we're going to do a couple more giveaways here. We do have two other returning guests that just sat down with us. Would you please lean up to the mic and introduce yourself? No stage fright. It's just 20 of us in here.
Just 20. I'm Samantha. I'm an addict.
Hi, Samantha, an addict. And to my left, who do we got here?
My name's Keith Campbell.
Welcome, Keith. How is your guys' holidays going? Keith, first.
It's going great.
Kiss that mic. I know that this is the first Christmas with the family, right? The new family member.
Yeah.
And how are things going? Enlighten us.
Really good. The baby's actually sleeping through the nights now, so that helps a lot.
So you get sleep.
Yeah, I get sleep. Well, I kind of got sleep either way because she would go we have like a spare room with a bed. So she would go in there with the baby and like I would sleep so I can wake up and work and pay the bills, So she,
guess.
yeah, she's awesome. The baby's awesome. Today I woke up early and I cut up a bunch of stuff for a roast because I wanted to have a roast for Christmas Eve dinner. So I made a roast and then I did a bunch of like Italian pasta salads and stuff for tomorrow for Christmas because we're gonna do my family and then her family on Sunday. So
Nice.
it sure beats sitting in a cell.
You damn right.
I was just gonna say.
Come here, Ted. Come
I
on.
was just gonna say, and all these things, getting to read silly stories on a podcast, giving gifts away, dressing as nice. You guys are all dressed really nice, every one of you,
Yes.
and they're all possible because we're sober.
Yeah. This is the gifts of recovery. Like when Leon was sharing about us having to bury another fellow addict, it's like, it hurts to know, like, there's things like this out there every day, everywhere you go in recovery. You just got to grab on and hold on because it's a ride and it's a beautiful ride. Samantha, how's your Christmas? How's your holidays? Talk to us. How you doing?
I'm doing really good. Christmas for me was a little different. This is the first year I didn't have to cook. My kid's with his dad.
Yay!
So
Yeah.
I got to go over to my mom's and hang out with my family and do absolutely nothing.
Relax.
So that was pretty cool. I don't know. I feel exhausted. Even though I did nothing, I'm like, I think I ate too much. So I'm just ready to go home and call it a night. But, when you are living clean, you show up for things. Living clean.
Living clean.
You show up for things.
Right.
You reminded me the other day that you kind of wanted some of us to stop up here. So even though I'm strapped for time,
Hey, that's why I got you on the mic right away.
I appreciate it.
Because, see, Samantha, here's you and here's the world.
That's right.
We revolve around. No, I'm giving her shit. But honestly, Samantha comes through. Like, that's who Samantha is nowadays in recovery. Like, I can count on her. I know her schedule is jam-packed, and this is part of recovery. She came through. She supports the show. This is what we do. And we're grateful for you. And we appreciate you coming on.
Isn't it a true blessing to not be going to jail on Friday night and court on Monday?
Absolutely.
I think everyone's experienced it, too. It's just not awesome. So, I do, Keith, Samantha, thank you guys from the bottom of our heart. Tad, Elaine, and myself, Matt, we really appreciate you guys being here, supporting the show, all that good stuff. You know we love you.
What are we giving away next, Timmy?
Next. No, those are done. We both books and both shirts. So now Tad, the gift, oh my gosh, this is a beautiful native painting with a gift, $10 Starbucks and a Chick-fil-A card. So this is a huge prize, guys.
And this is unbelievable how easy this question is. If you guys don't get this answer better come in within the first 30 seconds to a minute. Are we ready? What was Bill W.'s wife's name?
Again, what was Bill W.'s wife's name? Ready, go. All right, so Mrs. W. That's a good one. All right, come on. Nope, we got a winner, Makila D. So reach out to myself or Tad directly, and we'll make arrangements for you to come grab this. Congratulations, that's an awesome gift. You'll see what I'm talking about. Carolyn, a little late, but we got another prize coming up here. Bob's going to read another one. So the next gift that we're giving away tonight on the podcast is going to be what Tad shows me next. I believe, I know my voice is getting cornied up. Oh, we got a dual. All right, so we got Hope Dealer. We got Hope Dealer face masks. Thank you, JP. We've got two prizes here. So the first two answers are getting this. It's a Native Indigenous Peoples 8x10, two framed 8x10. One has a lady and a deer, and the other one has other stuff on it. And you get Hope Dealer's face mask with both. You like how I did that, Chelsea? Yeah. All right. So the question is,
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, who was AA member number 3? He's also known as in the picture of a man sitting on the bed with Dr. Bob and Bill W. Who was AA member number 3?
we love you, Bob. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to have Chelsea sit down. Oh, Carolyn, you did get a winning prize. So either you and your man will be coming up here, or we will bump heads one way or another, and I'll get that to you. So Chelsea's gonna hop on, and she is going to read a Christmas story. Samantha, are you hanging out, or you gotta get scooting?
I got about 10 minutes.
Okay, well then, say goodbyes to your audience, the ones that showed up just because of you.
Bye, audience. I love you guys.
Thank you so much,
Thank you for the
Samantha.
holiday season.
I wasn't kicking you out. Who knows how long the story will be. Chelsea, the microphone is yours. Keith, you got time to hang out
Yeah.
for a minute? All right.
Okay, guys. Good to be back on the mic. All right, so I have this story here. It's called A Cup of Christmas Tea by Tom Hegg, illustrated by Warren Hansen. And I flipped open the front of the book, and I got this cool little warm, fuzzy feeling. It is hand dedicated in the front of the book. It says, "To Mary, Christmas Blessings." And then it's signed by the author, and it says 1990, which just happens to be the year that I was born. So I just thought of me being a baby around Christmas time and getting stories dedicated to me, and just how this story was dedicated to some baby somewhere. And I just thought that was kind of sweet. So I'm going to read this story about tea. The log was in the fireplace, all spiced and set to burn. At last the yearly Christmas race was in the clubhouse turn. The cards were in the mail, all the gifts beneath the tree, and 30 days reprieve till Visa could catch up with me. And though smug satisfaction seemed the order of the day, something still was nagging me and would not go away. A week before, I got a letter from my old great-aunt. It read, "Of course I'll understand completely if you can't, but if you find you have some time, how wonderful if we could have a little chat and share a cup of Christmas tea." She'd had a mild stroke that year, which crippled her left side. Though housebound now, my folks had said it hadn't hurt her pride. They said she'd love to see you, what a nice thing it would be for you to go and maybe have a cup of Christmas tea. But boy, I didn't want to go. Oh, what a bitter pill to see an old relation and how far she'd gone downhill. I remembered her as a vigorous and funny and bright. I remembered Christmas Eves when she regaled us half the night. I didn't want to risk all that. I didn't want the pain. I didn't need to be depressed. I didn't need the strain. And what about my brother? Why not him? She's his aunt too. I thought I had it justified, but then before I knew the reasons not to go, I so painstakingly had built were cracking wide and crumbling in acid rain of guilt. I put on boots and gloves and cap, shame stinging every pore, and armed with squeegee, sand, and map, I went out my front door. I drove in from the suburbs to the older part of town. The pastels of the newer homes gave way to gray and brown. I had that disembodied feeling as the car pulled up and stopped beside the wooden house that held the Christmas cup. How I got up to her door, I really couldn't tell. I watched my hand rise up and press the button of the bell. I waited, aided by my nervous rocking to and fro, and just as I was thinking I should turn around and go, I heard the rattle of the china and the hutch against the wall. The triple beat of 2 feet and a crutch came down the hall. The clicking of the door latch and the sliding of the bolt, and a little swollen struggle popped it open with a jolt. She stood there, pale and tiny, looking fragile as an egg. I forced myself from staring at the brace that held her leg. And though her thick bifocals seemed to crack and spread her eyes, their milky and refracted depths lit up with young surprise. Come in," she laughed the words. She took me by the hand, and all my fears dissolved away as if by her command. We went inside, and then, before I knew how to react, before my eyes and ears and nose, was Christmas past, alive, intact. The secret of candied oranges, of cinnamon and pine, the antique wooden soldiers in their military line. The porcelain nativity I'd always loved so much, the Dresden and the crystal I'd been told I mustn't touch. My spirit fairly bolted like a child out of class and danced among the ornaments of calico and glass. Like magic, I was 6 again, deep in a Christmas spell, steeped in the million memories the boy inside knew well. And here among old Christmas cards, so lovingly displayed, a special place of honor for the ones we kids had made. And there beside her rocking chair, the center of it all, my great aunt stood and said how nice it was to come and call. I sat and rattled on about the weather and the flu. She listened very patiently, then smiled and said, "What's new?" Thoughts and words began to flow. I started making sense. I lost the phony breeziness I use when I get tense. She was still passionately interested in everything I did. She was positive, encouraging, like when I was a kid. Simple generalities still sent her into fits. She demanded the specifics, the particulars, the bits. We talked about the limitations that she'd had to face. She spoke with utter candor and with humor and good grace. Then, defying the reality of crutch and straightened knee, on wings of hospitality, she flew to brew the tea. I sat alone with feelings that I hadn't felt in years. I looked around at Christmas through a thick, hot blur of tears. And the candles and the holly she'd arranged on every shelf, the impossibly good cookies she still somehow baked herself. But these rich, tactile memories became quite pale and thin when measured by the Christmas my great aunt kept deep within. Her body halved and nearly spent, but my great aunt was whole. I saw a Christmas miracle, the triumph of a soul. The triple beat of 2 feet in a crutch came down the hall, the rattle of the china in the hutch against the wall. She poured 2 cups, she smiled, and she handed one to me. And then we settled back and had a cup of Christmas tea. The end.
So I know you guys are hearing, there's a lot of hubbub going on around here. We got people coming and going and prizes and books. And I hope we have another reading. We have more books, right?
That's
So
because we haven't seen each other in so long. Man.
I
You what I'm saying? It's
know.
our family, man.
'Cause we
haven't seen-
recover.
and it's good to see everybody, man. And it's been a minute. We all got our own lives. And it's just good to see everybody, man. So I'm happy to be here.
hell yeah.
We're happy to see you, and we're so blessed to have all this recovery family. And
That's
unity.
right.
Amen.
So we do, like I said, I'm popping these teasers out. We got Ken coming to the mic in a little bit here to raffle off, not raffle off. We're thinking about Carl here, but he brought to the table some pretty major gifts to give away on this. So that's pretty huge. I appreciate it. What we do here in recovery is things of that nature. It's 10 o'clock now, and Bob is going to read another question here, or another.
What are we giving away, Tim?
I'm glad that you asked.
What we're going to give away now is a $25 gift card to Target, married up with a small. This is a pretty big prize, and we're going to give that away with a small pitcher. So it's a $25 Target gift card and a small framed native pitcher. It's beautiful.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's see if you can figure this one out. What is the 1934 definition of the word brainstorm, which is used in the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous? What is the word brainstorm? What is the definition of this word? In other words, today's definition is not the same as 1934. So that's giving you a very big hint. So what is the definition, the 1934 definition of the word brainstorm that's used in the Big Book?
Perfect. Thank you, Roberto. So just to let you guys know, we do still have a 32 by 32 framed pitcher, and that's beautiful. It's huge. We also have a, I believe, another gift card that we're giving away, 16 by 20 as well. And then we got them tickets we're giving away. It's lots of stuff going on here. Hey, Keith.
Yeah.
So, being that this is your first Christmas with your baby and all these new responsibilities, like, how does that tie in with recovery for you? Are you still able to make meetings, or like, do you still make recovery part of your life now that you have a kid?
Yeah, I definitely do. I still try to go to at least one meeting a week.
Right.
I just started a new job as a train conductor at the railroad.
Train conductor?
Congratulations.
I got one question real quick.
Yeah.
Did they give you a dope striped hat, or is that just math?
No, that's just old school.
Okay, so yeah.
Yeah, they gave me
So we need
personality
to get
test,
dope stripe hat.
a background check,
So wait,
credit
wait.
check.
So you did
hair
all-
follicle test. Like,
Really?
I mean, personality tests, interviews. What else did they do? They did.
And that's
it
union?
was a crazy process. Yeah.
Like that's huge.
So I've been in that now. I've been doing training, which is
We're also taking lots of photos during
training
this.
is.
Yeah, photo.
They're like,
opportunity.
yeah, training you'll get paid, but it'll only be a portion of like what you're gonna make. So I was like, oh, whatever. I was expecting like $15 an hour or something, but they're giving me like $225 a day just for training. So I'm like,
Oh, no crap.
That's cool. You know, what I
Dude,
mean?
like the gifts of recovery. I think the one of the key things you just shared about is like to get that job, you went through a process. Like, could you just enlighten the audience about, let's just say 10 years ago, if you went for a job like that?
How far would that have gotten?
10 years ago, I would have read the description. I would have known they did a background check or a drug test, and I wouldn't even have attempted it. It was like, it would just been a pipe dream, you know. It's kind of one of the only jobs that you don't have to go to college for that you can make $100,000 a year. Like, that's pretty much how much money I'll make.
A couple heads in the room just snapped. They're like, "What?"
That's nice.
Elena's like,
saying.
"What
I'm
the
not
hell?"
even gonna finish my degree now. I mean, I got as long as I pass. I got more tests to pass though. Otherwise, I'm pretty much fired. Like federal.
Six-figure job, people, to play Casey Jones.
Yeah, very, very hard to get in. You know, that's why a lot of people have been trying to get in. And like I said,
Right.
you know, only because of recovery that was even possible. You know, and one of my friends has been an engineer for 18 years, and we used to party together back in the day, grew up together, and now he's been an engineer. So he gave me the hope. You know, he said they're probably only going to go back 7 years on your background, and that's
Yeah,
all
because
that's all they did. And I've been sober almost that long, so my background was clean. I couldn't believe it.
Like you were a felon, correct?
Yeah, I was a nervous wreck thinking, you know, I had my hopes up about 10%. I was expecting never to be able to get this job, and, you know, through God and recovery, because I did a lot of praying. And, you know, I had to pass a bunch of tests before I was even got an interview, and then I got an interview, and then they sent me for color blindness tests and physical like tests and seeing tests and hearing tests. And
So like the hope shot here, like I like to magnify this for anyone listening, like early recovery that just don't think something like that could be possible. You know, you get people like myself, I got into recovery damn near at 40, and I'm like, what am I going to do with my life? And it's like within a couple years, you can get a career that's like a game changer.
yeah,
Just by sticking around the rooms and putting in some effort.
you can, but don't get your hopes up on it. You know, like I
We're
said,
not trying to sell that.
it's been almost 7 years for me, and I've had a lot of like jobs that I thought were going to be good, businesses I started, and like contracts went away, and you know, the promises say that, you know, the fear of
Yes.
financial insecurity will leave us. It doesn't say that like.
We aren't promised a good job, a beautiful wife,
Right.
a new home. We're not
Yeah.
promised any of that stuff. We work for that. So, Keith, you've worked very hard to get that, to get to the position that you're at. And you not only now have just a job, you have what's called a career.
Right.
That's the most important thing.
And that's what I was going for. You know, I was on these things, you know, I knew I was done with my job and I needed something different, and I wanted a career, and I was sick of jumping from here to there. And like now I had this, you know, background, like, I had to give a bunch of personal references. They had to trace my work history back 7 years, and they checked, and it went back to even to a point where it was my business. They tried to call me. They're like, well, you can't verify yourself. So I had to show copies of documents that I had my business 5 years ago. Crazy. Like, but that's what I did. I went through it. I kept getting discouraged. I'm like, something's going to happen. I'm going to go through all this stuff and nothing's going to work out, because that's normally what happens when I try really, really hard to do stuff. So I learned a long time ago when I was going to court. I always expect the worst and hope for the best.
Right.
Otherwise, your heart
That was
gets
the mindset.
shattered. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what I did. But I prayed, and everyone was like, "Oh, don't give up." And, you know, my woman was very, very supportive, and she helped me with like computer stuff and emails and, you know, stuff I could have figured out, but stuff that frustrated me that was a lot easier with help. So, you know, I'm blessed to have her. I'm, you know, blessed, like I said, my other friend, you know, he helped me a lot with questions and let me know what to expect. It's a hard job. You know, I'll be on call
Right.
like all the time.
Oh
so,
yeah, that's not. Yes, I know that line of work is. Yeah, you're gonna be working. There's gonna be goofy hours because they go 24/7. Trains like are
Yeah.
24/7.
Trains don't stop. If I do get stuck working a holiday, I'll make, you know, probably $66 an hour or something. So it won't be too bad.
No, that's not too bad.
We
at
can
all.
celebrate a couple days later when I get a day off.
So real quick, I'm gonna hop in here. With Jackie L, you did win. It is Bill Dotson. That was the answer. Now the other question that Bob asked, we still haven't had anyone give an answer. I think that question was the definition, or what was it, Bob?
What? The 1934 definition in the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous for the word brainstorm, it's actually used in the sentence that states, the grouch in the brain and the brainstorm may be the dubious luxury of normal people, but for alcoholics, it's fatal.
So again, the definition. So I just saw like John B hopped on. Carolyn, I think, was trying to answer.
I got the answer in my car.
Silkworth in the third member. Carolyn said delusion. Oh, did she? I'm not seeing that on my feed. A discussion. A discussion. Is that correct?
No, it is not. It's close, but.
Get yourself a study
Anyone, you
guide,
can
Big
Google
Book,
this,
people.
like, you
It's
can
got the old definitions in the back.
Yes.
So there's definition of violent
That's my
outburst.
secret.
Yes.
Is that it? Boom. Jackie, you have won again. Jackie is the winner of that again. It is a violent
A
outburst.
sudden burst of anger or derangement of the mind.
Wow, Bob with these tricky. Wait till you hear some of these other questions he came up with. We're talking about number, like you had to be there in person. I haven't Googled yet. I wonder if you can Google that answer of the steps.
This is the one you need for the hockey.
All right. So this next one we're gonna give away. What do we want to do there? We're getting down there.
I'm glad that you asked.
All right. I'm gonna bear with me while Tad you wanna go? Oh, we got some cowboy. Oh, we got two Cowboy Jack baskets. Now that's gift cards, stocking caps, like multiple gift cards in those little drink buckets. These are awesome. Tad's. This employer believes in our recovery, believes in what we're doing. They're supporting our podcast, and they donated like $50 worth of stuff. And we are grateful for that too. So this next question, it is.
Okay, this is one for the people that are or have been or know of at Dr. Bob's house in Akron, Ohio. Leading up to the house from the sidewalk, how many steps lead up to the front porch?
I know that.
How many steps lead up to the front porch when you get to Akron, Ohio, and you go up? Whoa. That's, well, you know what? Yeah.
That's another
Hey,
question.
that could be another answer to another question. We got to be careful. So one more time, let's read that, Bob.
How many steps lead up to Dr. Bob's house in Akron, Ohio?
All right, perfect. First one to get it on there wins. Real quick, Bob, why did the Scarecrow win an award?
Because he was outstanding in his field.
Because he was outstanding in his field. MJ, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I have something to share.
I would love for good guesses, but not. Oh, there we go. Carolyn, you have won.
Carolyn, you're awesome.
Good job, Carolyn.
We love you, Carolyn.
We love you, Carolyn.
All right. Go ahead and talk to us, MJ.
Okay, let me talk about recovery and the promises coming true. And Keith, I so relate with what you were talking about with your job and everything, and having a career now rather than having just a job. Jobs are important. Careers are another level of sobriety and you getting to where you are. I have to share about the financial insecurity will leave us. For me, I had an unlawful detainer, which I don't know if anybody's ever been kicked out or evicted from an apartment or a place to live. I had one of those. And you know what? That never comes off your record, just an FYI. Maybe some of you know that already. The other thing is I filed bankruptcy twice. Once a Chapter 13, and then the other was a Chapter 7 to get rid of all that debt. And the thing is to come back from that, I also had a judgment against me because of that unlawful detainer. So I ended up, or no, it wasn't on the unlawful detainer. Actually, it had something to do with a loan that I had taken out, and I didn't pay. And that was the way it was for me, in my youth, is that I always, money would always go to drugs and drinking, all of it. Food was like non-existent in my house or whatever. So for me to get on the other side of that, I had to walk through that. My husband and I'm not sure if it was when we were looking for an apartment to live together in. I think it was. And because of my credit being so bad, his was fine, mine was not. But because of my credit being so bad, I was not able to put in an application for a place and to be able to get it to clear, because they would look at my record and they'd go, oh, no, we're not renting to you. And it was so disheartening. And it's like, well, why?
Right.
Why? And then I had to walk through that. I had to take care of that judgment. I had to file can't remember what it is.
And that's just something you did in recovery, early recovery, like
In
that's,
recovery,
yes.
Yeah, 5 years into recovery, actually. I
Right.
started walking through this, and to walk that road of shame again, to relive all of that.
Right.
I did all this, and whatever. But I got to the other side of it. And the thing is there's always hope in that. The financial institution that I was trying to get a loan from, they said, well, you have this judgment. All you need to do is file this satisfaction of judgment that you had paid this. And I went, well, I did pay it,
Right.
And so ended up going and getting that filed. That was okay. That unlawful detainer, though, like I said, is still going to be on my record forever. You can't get that off your record.
Right.
And so, that's something they look at. The bankruptcy, that comes off your record in 7 to 10 years or something like that. I don't even know. But the thing is that to start being responsible, and to get on the other side of, okay, rather than being frivolous with money that I do have, is to become responsible and doing the right thing and making the right choices on the way I spend my money and paying my bills on time and all that kind of stuff.
When I think your husband said this, or you, I don't know who it was, but situations like this, we don't have to go through it, but we get to grow through it.
Exactly.
Like, I know you two are big proponents of when you guys both work with so many newcomers. You guys have sponsees up the wazoo. I know you both do. And, like, I've heard you guys time and time again when someone comes to you guys with problems that they're going through, I've heard you say, like, we grow through this. And a lot of times you talk like we grow through it together. Like, that's the part of this thing of recovery, which I've seen from you guys, like my predecessors, the one who came before us. And it's just huge, like you sharing that type of information and Keith being able to share that with us too. It's like that hope shot we're talking about.
When I got out of
Shoulder
treatment,
to shoulder.
when I got out of treatment, I owed $180,000 in child support.
Whoa, and now do you owe any?
Yeah, 50,000.
Okay, so 120 knocked out. I mean, but you deal with it.
Right.
Yeah.
I can relate to that too, Tim.
Yeah.
Right.
I have my issues with that. I don't know if everybody know. I'm going to school to be a licensed alcohol and drug counselor. So I had to, because I'm a felon, I had to battle with the DHS. You know what I mean? And it took like, I was supposed to graduate possibly in 2020. Well, I was supposed to graduate when I graduated, but with my class in 2020.
Summa cum laude. Let's get it right.
No, man, Phi Theta Kappa.
But, whoop.
Actually, I'm the president. So,
see,
I was member of one Tapakega. That's the one.
one
But it was-
Tapakega. But no,
but
I
it
mean,
was. I
that's huge.
had to appeal it. I had to appeal my decision, my reconsideration. They didn't approve me, and I had to appeal it. And luckily, I was working recovery. Doing the next right thing and stuff like that, and just, just doing the next right thing, man, and trying to be a better person and all that stuff. And I went through the appeal process, and they pretty much like approved me, gave me a set aside. So now I'm able to finish my program, which I graduated in May.
Congratulations,
So, yeah,
man.
I got one more semester.
That's a
so
big
I
step.
finished my
Very proud of you.
internship. Shout out to Navon. That's where I'm at now. So I finished my first internship just now, and the second internship started.
Congratulations, man. I had to go through that process, and
Yeah.
I know it's not easy.
Man, it's not. People don't even know. But the thing is, and I asked my pastor, man, I was like, I just wish I didn't have to. I just wish I didn't go through all this stuff that I went through. You know what I mean? And he explained to me like, hey, you know what? You're not gonna think about that like that in 5 years. You know what I mean? And
Recovery teaches us to walk through it,
Right.
and then it gives us grace because we get grace from it.
Exactly. And that's just it was just a humbling experience, man, that I'm allowed to finish my program, man, and become a counselor, man. So that's kind of dope.
So we've got another giveaway we're gonna do, and this one's pretty huge. It is an $85 eyelash treatment upgrade. I don't know what you girls call it, or guys, whoever wants to use it. But
eyelash spa.
Samantha, who was just on here, who works at a predominant, she does this, and she's donating dual gift cards for that. So we've got an $85 we got an $85 one, and we're also giving away the other Cowboy Jack's bucket with the gift cards in it and hat. This is a great prize. So first one to post it will win. Go ahead, Bob.
This one's probably going to go quick, people. All right. Once you've stepped from the outside world into the inside house of Dr. Bob's in Akron, Ohio, you're on the main floor and you're looking upstairs, or the set of stairs going upstairs to the bedroom. How many steps does it take to get up to the bedroom?
It is on Google. I checked. I checked that first one. So you can find these on Google. This first come JP, good guess. Boom. But you're wrong. Jackie, good guess. But you're wrong. Oh, this is a hot one too. All right, guys and gals. All right. So, Mandy got it.
Get it, Mandy.
Good job, Mandy. In-house win. Good. Oh, and look at
Her
that.
eyelashes are going to be looking stellar.
To my wife, if you listen, I tried.
We've got one more. We got one more eyelash thing
yeah.
we're giving away.
We got a bunch more questions.
Yes. So we got an eyelash thing. We got a brand
Oh my gosh.
as one.
That's nice.
All right. So now we've got this huge. It's a 32 by 32 beautiful painting. I'm looking at it. It's got a wolf in it, and it's got this Native American lady in a nature background.
Pocahontas
It's
and White
beautiful.
Fang
Yeah.
Pocahontas and White
And then
Fang.
another $85 eyelash treatment thing.
We're talking a couple $100 worth of stuff right here, people.
Stuff.
Like stuff. Are we ready? Okay. Who wrote the doctor's opinion?
Oh, wow. This should be going quick, guys and girls. So, who wrote the doctor's opinion? So, John M. Thank you for coming on. Same with John B. Everyone who's on here watching and listening, thank you for the support. Elena, looks like she won. Good job, Elena. Get your eyes dead. She almost
What was
fell
his
off.
nickname?
So now,
What was the doctor's nickname?
So we've got a very special big book that someone donated. It's one of those study edition leather bound.
Congratulations, Elaine.
They're
Written by the Anonymous Press.
Yes, it's a
One page has the writing on it, and the other page is blank for notes.
yes.
It also has a 1934 glossary in the back, and it also has the original text of the
Manuscript.
Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous after it was proofread. So this is pretty much the first edition after all the corrections that were
Yeah.
made in it, and that's in the gray area of it. So this book concentrates on the first 164 pages of Alcoholics Anonymous, the spiritual experience, and the 1934 glossary and definitions. Actually, if you would have had one of these books in your presence when we asked what the word brainstorm
Yes.
means, you could have gone to the back and looked it up, and it would have had that definition in there.
So this question Bob's gonna ask next is for that big book. We've got that, and Ted, what's that toy? What is that toy?
Mechano maker system. It's like an echo set.
Like you build your. Okay, so we got like.
Erector set.
It's like an erector set for cars, and you sick-minded people. It's just it's a toy. So you can make a plane, you can make a car. It's got all the little gadgets and gadgets for that. So we're giving away that big book Bob explained and that toy. 8 years and older. So here comes.
I'm emotionally 12. Okay. All right. This one should be pretty simple too, people. If you could Google this, it's out there. Out of the first 100 people who wrote the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, how many were women?
Oh, that's come on. First come. Who's gonna get it? All right. How many were women out of the first 100 who wrote the big book? All right. Winning. So, now, on to another story, I thought. Who? Oh, sorry, Jackie. There was women. It says in that first couple sentences, I believe, this was written by 100 men and women. Yes. But they just don't define it. But the answer is out there. Perfect. So we've got someone who stepped up to the plate here. Would you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Ken, an alcoholic.
Hey, Ken.
How you
How's
doing,
it going?
Ken? Good to see you, Ken.
All right. Talk to us, Ken. How you doing?
I'm doing fairly well tonight.
How's recovery going for you? How's life going for you? Talk to me.
Way too many sponsees.
Okay. What do you mean?
Keeping me too busy. Going to too many meetings.
Okay. Is that like a bad thing?
Probably not.
All right. Let's get into this real quick. We're gonna give 5 minutes to this, but before you do, I had to ask Bob a quick question. Did you hear about the restaurant on the moon?
No.
Yeah, it's great food, but no atmosphere. All right, so Ken, on a lighter note here with my dad jokes.
Oh my God.
There's not going to be. We're not doing tidbits with Timmy tonight.
What's
So
clear on the outside
people literally
and
just
gray
left.
on the inside.
What's,
People just
say that
left
again.
after
What?
that joke.
What's clear on the outside and gray on the inside?
What is it?
I don't want to be rude.
An elephant in a baggie.
An elephant in a baggie. That's a good dad joke too. All right. So Ken, too many sponsees. Let's get healthy here. Talk to me.
What do you mean?
Well, what's
Too
the
many
problem?
sponsees?
Do you drink over that ever?
No.
Okay, while working with these sponsees, no matter how much troublesome is it, at the end of the day,
Sometimes it's too many.
okay, so what are you going to do about that?
So basically, you got to weed out the ones that aren't going to stay sober, and you kind of pick the ones that you think are gonna.
So sometimes when it comes to a situation like that,
You know, I've been around for a long time, and I've noticed over the years that people with 20 or 30 sponsees, they don't give the time that you need to nurture them and give them the time that they need.
okay, so your personal, these are your,
My personal
yes,
experience.
there you go.
That's my personal opinion.
Right,
too.
right.
So I'd rather keep sponsees at a normal 5 or 6 and be able to help, you know, when I can.
So I was going to say in the future, but I'm not. I'm going to say, so like right now, someone comes to you with the situation you're in and says, hey, Ken, will you sponsor me? Will you just say, no, I got too many, or what would you do?
I would push them to somebody else.
Okay, so you wouldn't turn them down? You
Never turn anybody down. There's no reason why. You know, you can temporarily sponsor somebody,
Right.
but
That's like being a little pregnant.
Being a little
In
pregnant.
my eyes.
Yeah, no, and these are, everyone has their own opinion. You can be a contact. You can be a contact for someone.
we're lots of contacts for people.
There you go. It's that easy. Good try, Elena, but we're wrong. Come on, we're like making our way to the answer here. I see 0, I see 1. Come on, audience, step it up. So, Ken, I know you hate jokes about German sausage because they're the worst.
I don't know what this turned into.
You were too high, JP, but good try.
Oh, too bad. Okay.
All right. So, other than that, Ken, let's keep it pushing. I know you are in the same field of work as myself and Bob here, and with recovery, how does that play out with recovery? Because I know you've had some ups and downs about working with people in recovery. The positives and negatives. Talk to me about it.
This conversation could go on for hours.
Well, you can just tell me this much. See, we're not going on for hours. What I'm trying to get at, Ken, is like when I was working with you, I drag you to a meeting every day. We would go to a meeting every day. How does recovery still play into your life when you're working with people in recovery or not in recovery?
Well, I know if we go to a meeting every day, we're cutting out 2.5 hours of the day. And sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Depends on where you are in your recovery and what you're actually doing for work. Not all the time that you can go to a meeting every day and get stuff done. And as far as people working for me in recovery, I've kind of cut it down. I don't like to do it anymore because it just doesn't work out most of the time. It really doesn't.
Right. I'm just trying to dig your brain out. So we did get a winner on that. Every answer, really, we had 01534. The answer is 2. Good job, Michael D.
Good job, Mike.
Reach out to Tad or myself, and we'll get you your brand new big book, followed with a toy.
Leather bound.
He doesn't get eyelashes?
Study edition.
No, the eyelashes are gone. That went.
Elena got the
You got
eyelashes.
eyelashes, and so did Mandy. My man.
Yeah, you got
Yeah.
eyelashes.
And that big picture.
That's what you wanted, right?
Yeah, you got eyelashes in the big picture. No, then you can let me give them to Jess. Let me get your spare ones and give them to my friend. She's really sick, and I'm sorry she couldn't make it, but she's under the weather. Otherwise, she'd have been here reading stories tonight.
That'd be a good birthday gift for my wife.
I don't know. Don't care. I have beautiful eyelashes, anyways. My man, you want to introduce yourself?
Tim, your eyelashes are kind of beautiful.
Introduce yourself.
I'm Rob. I am an alcoholic.
What's your name?
I'm Rob.
Rob, welcome to the show, my man. How you doing?
I'm great. I have a good life.
You do.
Good job, Rob.
How's your recovery going for you?
I work with Ken.
Dude, sorry, dude.
I thought you said you're not hiring people in
Let me tell you
recovery.
I can tell you the other side of the story.
Let's hear it. Nah, we talk
the
good.
reality is,
Right.
I understand exactly what he's talking about with people that work it or they don't work it. I work with him, and some days he's absolutely correct. Some days you got to just keep working.
Right.
You're not going to be able to make it. It is a 2.5-hour dedication to get to a meeting and back to him from a meeting. You know, we live in a city where it's not right on the corner. You know,
Right.
and-
Not now, especially after COVID, meetings aren't available like they were.
So you have to live it on a daily basis throughout your day. You know, it's not just the meeting that's going to be keeping you sober. You have to be carrying this thing into all your affairs. The best part about being a sponsee and working with him is I learned that.
Right.
I get to learn that firsthand, right? As it's happening. As things happen at work, as things come up, I see who he calls. And he calls people like Bob. He calls people, and he relays off people. It's so just boom, boom, boom. And it makes it so simple for a new guy like me to live a happy life early on.
So, like, quick question, without getting too deep into this, when you're out there on the job site working with a sponsor, like when, let's say, life is showing up, you get a call from the girl, something bad's going on, you don't know how to deal with it. Being there, that you're right there with your sponsor, do you reach out right there? Do you wait, or how do you deal with that when that's who you're working with? Do you deal with it right then and there and like, hey, Ken, man,
pretty
shit's
much.
falling
He
apart.
reads me like a book. You know, I can get a phone call and it doesn't matter if he heard what I said or not. He reads me like a book. We're alcoholics. You know, especially when you're new,
Right.
like I am. Like, I wear my feelings on my sleeves.
He's actually pretty hard-headed.
Oh, so he's one of us.
No.
Yeah,
he's not one of us.
I'm the hopeless variety. Yeah, that's what I said, right?
How's the hopeless variety? I like that. A lot of support there, Ken.
Now, hopeless means beyond human aid.
There's a little bit of trivia that you might hear later on. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna read a story here, our last Christmas story for the night, and then Ken's going to be giving away kind of a grand prize tonight. So I think Tad's gonna ask a question that is an in-house question. There's no Googling it. It's gonna be either you heard it on our show or you better call someone that you know faithfully listens. Because we give out prizes to people that have that information at their hands. You would have had to have heard the show a couple weeks ago, and unless you can speed listen, you're... So, tonight, the last story being read is called A Silent Night for Peef. P-E-E-F. A Silent Night for Peef.
Same Peef from the last story of Peef. It's
The same
bear.
Peef. This is by Tom Hagg, illustrated by Warren Hansen, narrated by Timothy Warren. You out here, Keith? Thank you, Keith, for coming. We love you.
Merry
Thanks
Christmas,
for the
brother.
support. Merry
Keith, man.
Christmas.
Love you all.
Give the family a hug for me.
Merry Christmas.
Another Christmas Eve has come. The waiting sleigh was full, and Santa took the reins in hand and felt the reindeers pull. The harness bells began to jingle as they gathered speed. And whoosh, they took the frosty air with Blitzen in the lead. I wish I could illustrate the pictures to you guys, too.
Blitzen.
Blitzen, yeah.
They made their magic rounds again, like all the years before, and brought the merry sign of Christmas cheer to every door. And then, before the old familiar turn just north of Nome, old Santa said, "There's one more stop before we head home." The sleigh. Come on, stop. All right, guys. I'm trying to put on the whole Christmas ordeal. The sleigh lighting on a humbled roof. The very last. Before the Christmas present would become a Christmas past. And in the homes, dear children, lived a child who loved a bear. A very special bear indeed. A bear who was somewhere within the tangles of the sheets and blankets on a bed. A multicolored bear of blue, green, brown, and red. A masterpiece that Santa Claus had made by hand. In brief, the little teddy bear who bore the happy name of Peef. Who names their kid Peef? To hear that sound just once again would be a precious gift. He only had to find the little teddy bear and lift him up and touch his tummy, and a Peef would be right there, just as it when Santa Claus had made the little bear. The child was sleeping lightly, as you might on Christmas Eve. A toss, a turn, and there, besides a blue pajama sleeve, dear Santa saw a paw he knew as well as his own hand. And he grew so excited, it was all that he could stand. To keep from laughing right out loud, but this was silent night, so ho-ho-hoing had to be postponed. A silver light began to filter through the window pane, and Santa's eyes could see as clearly as they do the sparkly starlit skies. Ooh. The child turned again, and sure enough, upon the sheet, he saw the little bear right from his head down to his feet. But there was something different. Peef had changed, and it was clear. Peef wasn't where he was when Santa left him there last year. For he was dirty here. And faded there, and there. His right side had a little rip, the left in the little rear. Tear. When Santa touched Peef's tummy, he was stunned beyond belief. The little bear sprang back to life, but could no longer peef. They hugged each other tightly. They had missed each other so. They read each other's thoughts, and Santa's thoughts, I thought to sew you up a bit and get you nice and clean again, I think. It won't take long to get your colors back into the pink.
Nothing worse than a dirty Peef.
And maybe, I know, I'm reading it in a way.
Penthouse Foreman.
Yeah, that's how I'm reading it. Bear with me, we're halfway through. And maybe I've had an extra button sewn somewhere in the sleigh. So you can have your voice again. It could be there's a way to keep you safe from all the harm and danger waiting right around the corner for a teddy bear both day and night. I'm pausing in the middle of sentences because you have to make it rhyme. That's how they cut it up. Makes no sense, but it's what it is. There must be something else that I can do for you. I knew I'll think of something if I only think it through. But Peef broke into Santa's over-worried, hurried mind and said, Dear Santa, please, you really mustn't try to find a way to keep me safe from every single little thing. I've seen a summer and a fall, a winter and a spring. You can't believe the fun I've had. You can't believe the joy it brings. And if I burst my seams a bit, well, so would any toy. My days begin and end right here, right in this very bed. I stay beside my little friend way up here at the head. On school days, we get up and have our breakfast done by 8. The bus comes right on time, and so we mustn't make them wait. On Saturday and Sunday, we can take our time and play because we don't get going until later in the day. I wear a cape sometimes. It goes on with a safety pin. And that explains the little tear you see beneath my chin. I fly across the room, go sliding down the banister. I ride the vacuum cleaner right along the canister. When mom and dad go to the store, we go along and start to giggle when we feel the wiggle on our cart. One time we went exploring and I got to be a scout. One time we got in trouble and I had to have a timeout. We go to church, and when we do, I always love to see the windows because there's lots of colors just the same as me. Why I've been in the treehouse. Why I've been in the treehouse. I've been playing in the mud. And I've been in a rowboat, make-believe Noah's flood. We made a castle out of a chair, and I became a knight. A dragon almost got me. Just pretend, so it's all right. Why, I've been in the backpack. Why, oh, he's a bear. Jesus, Tim. Why, I've been in a backpack, and I've been to school as well. In fact, I even was the special guest for show and tell. I've jumped into a pile of leaves. I've ridden on a bike. I've hidden in a box for hide and seek. We took a hike. We had a picnic where we picked some flowers just for fun. And we were there for hours and we saw the setting sun. I've seen so many colors, winter, summer, spring, and fall. But the greatest and most wonderful and special thing of all is someone you can't see or hear or smell or taste or feel. And it's only make-believe, but it's the only thing that's real. It's knowing who you are and being where you ought to be and doing what you ought to do, and you gave that to me. So this is where Jordan was crying. Okay, it makes sense. I'm reading it in a way where it's hard to cry, but okay, you got me. This poor little teddy bear. So you don't have to fix me up, for there's nothing wrong. I'm just that way I should be right now. I'm right where I belong. And if I have a tear or two, if I have a tear or two, or if I've lost my voice, it doesn't matter. I'm the bear I should be. It's my choice. It's my choice. And if I don't exactly last forever, nothing does. What will be, what is just is, what was just was. That's how I talk. And Santa laughed a silent laugh upon the silent night. And that a cloud blew overhead and took a silver light. He held the little teddy bear he'd made so long ago, with bits and cloths from all the elves, content from head to toe. So Santa's finger pointed towards the tummy of the bear, and then he thought, now all I need to do is touch once there. Last page. And as he turned to go, he heard upon a silent night a silent peep, and knew that all was calm and all was all right.
Ta-da!
I should have proofread that for a shorter one. Last thing, Tad's going to take over my chair here because you guys are sick of my voice for sure. And we're going to talk about these major, big last prizes coming up that Ken so graciously brought to the table. And you guys better have your typing fingers ready.
So, hey, first I'm going to introduce Ken, a buddy of mine. Ken, you want to say what's up?
Hi, I'm Ken, alcoholic.
You want to tell everyone what they're about to win?
Oh, I donated some wild tickets.
How many, Ken?
Oh, wow.
2 wild tickets.
2 wild tickets.
I'm trying.
Games in
Go
March
wild.
because of COVID or something.
It is. I'm trying to pull them up. It's a Wild versus the Predators. 2 tickets worth what, $110 or so, 120?
120 each.
120.
Would be the value, but they're 2 wild tickets. There's not a bad seat there. I gotta load my app, so go ahead.
Oh, it's what? March 13th, Sunday. It's
Yep.
a 5 p.m. game.
Yep, for 2 tickets, and you'll have to get a hold of me for me to transfer the tickets to you. And
That's nice.
the simple question is, going to be from a couple weeks ago. If you recall, I went to a wrestling event. This is what we did last year. We gave away tickets we gave away the big prize based on who my favorite wrestler was. Well, that past wrestler, but who is my current favorite pro wrestler? We talked about him in great length. So if you're watching the show, you're gonna guess. I said some things, and he's a current wrestler for WWE.
Let me tell you something, Mean Gene.
Should I give him a clue? Should I give him a clue?
Let's see if anyone's even. We have someone requesting.
We were just talking about him. I met him personally.
Yeah. Mean Gene was the coolest dude.
No, he's a current wrestler. I have the same tattoo he has.
Boy.
No. Okay. It is not the Miz. Not even close.
Good guess.
I have the same tattoo that he has.
John
His
actually-
children's birthdates on my.
You have his children's birthday.
No, I have my kid's birthday.
okay.
That's
All
the
right.
same thing he does on my ribs, just like him.
John Anderson said Brock Lesnar.
Nope, that is my ringtone, but not my current favorite
You
wrestler.
gotta type it into the.
Yeah, John Anderson, he is.
John Anderson.
And Michelle Demire, no, I'm not
Keep
a
on
37.
guessing, you
I
guys.
am not
Hey,
a
keep
37-year-old man living in his mom's basement who likes John Cena. That's
Could it
not
be
me.
Captain Crunch?
Nope. You know what? Some people might even say he's phenomenal.
Say your prayers and eat your
That's a good. Yes.
Yeah. If you watch wrestling, you know.
Yeah.
These are for 2 wild tickets.
Who's giving up?
But we said his name 13 times on the show,
Yeah, I
so
was cracking jokes because I didn't know.
because I had his gloves on, I had his P1 gloves
You're
on.
matching. Blew up from the flew up. Come on.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Dude, I got John A's over here saying, Ken, you should be giving away barbecue ribs.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, that's what everyone's saying that.
Johnny, I'm making
says-
brisket tomorrow.
Oh, you're hey. You
Come
wanna-
on. Yeah, everyone. We are. This is Bob Show Alcoholic. MJ and I are hosting a sober, safe event tomorrow at our home, open house out in the big garage. 3 p.m. If you want to show up, it's a potluck. Bring something to share. Drinks will be provided anytime from 3 p.m. and on. Ken's going to bring some nice brisket, and we've got some other stuff there. And but yeah, come on out if you want a safe, sober environment to go to. And if you need an address, go to the monthly campfire meeting on our Facebook page and private message us, and we will send you the address.
Thank you so much, Bob. You're always so gracious with recovery events. We love you for it. Hey, Ted, do you want to tell Michael something?
The phenomenal one, AJ Styles and myself, congratulate you, Michael Demire, on winning 2 wild tickets.
Yes, good job. Woo! Michael, AJ Styles, I don't know. It's not Mean Gene, Oakland.
AJ Styles is the greatest in-ring performer. He's the greatest in-ring performer of his
So,
generation.
you know what, Ted, thank you for that. The house is going wild here. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so here's the next thing that we're going to talk about here is JP has been JP.
Yeah.
You here?
I'm here.
All right.
It totally lost my head what we were going to talk about next.
Ken was talking about barbecue.
Oh, you know what?
Kinda lost.
2218. I wanted to promote the club. This is a place where you can come if you've got community service hours. Come on down and you can get your hours fulfilled here. If you have a child in who needs some hours covered, have them come on down. If you want to come volunteer your time, there's positions left and right that you can fulfill here at 2218. If you're able to donate, please hop on the link. Donate directly to the club. They could definitely use some financial support this time of the year. They save lives down here. It saved my life. It plays a big part in everyone you've heard on the show tonight. It's a great place to support. Come on down, be part of this club. Doors are always open every day for meetings. All day. There's meetings here. There's a meeting list right outside the front door. Come check it out. I think we're doing food again. Is Jane's Kitchen?
What, tomorrow?
Are we doing? No. Oh, yeah. Talk about that tomorrow.
So tomorrow from 1 to 4, we're having a dinner. Vic is cooking, the wonderful Vic. I'll be here helping out. There'll be some other board members present. And if you don't have anything going on, come from 1 to 4. If you want to donate your time or help volunteer, we need servers and whatnot. Be here at about 11. And have a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, that's what we do. It's Merry Christmases. You know what?
JP had some stuff.
You know, I want to thank you guys for having us do this tonight. This has been pretty entertaining.
To say the least.
So, what that raises the question: why are we giving stuff away and reading Christmas stories for kids? Because recovery's, although it's serious, although it can be life changing, although it can be life or death, it has to be fun. And if we all take everything so serious, then what's the point?
Right.
So, and nothing is funnier than seeing these grown-ass men read Christmas stories or listening. Jordan reading her story before, and she's in the bathroom crying about this stuffed bear who gets ripped and if he's going to make it or not. And, it's pretty cool.
Especially Pete the Cat.
Well,
Pete the Cat's my favorite.
They were like, here's the thing, too, like, just to touch on that is, like, I've learned this from, I'm big about this. So the longer I stick around, the more I realize, like, my predecessors, the people that came before me, they paved this way. They showed us how to do it. Sure, we come up with new things. Like, I haven't heard another show do something like what we did tonight, but it all stems from something we've been part of prior to this. It's just a gift that was given to us, and we get to share it. All these programs have an ending step that talks about basically giving away what was so freely given to us, and that's just what we do. Go ahead.
Mandy had something she was going to read?
Yeah, Mandy here, one of our previous winners. Congratulations. She's going to hop on or MJ's going to hop on my mic. Mandy's going to hop on that mic, and they're going to run this until we close out.
I thought you had something you want me to say.
You were going to share about something, I thought.
Share.
Oh, yeah.
Share about something.
About your endeavors or whatever.
Yeah. I'm pursuing going to Global University, man, to possibly get ordained as a minister or something like that. So I'm working on that, and wherever God takes me with that, I'm not sure if that's the way it's going to lead me at. I don't know yet, but I'm going down that road to see what that actually looks like. Yeah. So it's start Global University next month. We're gonna see where it go.
We're so proud and grateful for you in this community. The things you do for this community, I could sit on here and have 5 shows and thank you for the way you are in the community, and just turning your life around the way you have is an example to lots of people in the inner city, and it's where your heart is, and I don't know, you're one of my role models.
Thank you, man. I get my inspiration from all you guys, though. You know what I mean? I see you guys, man, and I'm pretty much still early in recovery, so to speak. But I look at all you guys, man, and I see how hard you work, for recovery, and the love that you guys share, man. I get my inspiration from y'all. You know what I mean? And that's like for real.
And we've gotten that from somebody else too.
Yeah,
so,
but I see people struggle. I see people struggle.
It's what was freely given to us.
Their pinky finger, and women going through child issues, CPS, and they doing all this stuff, and they still hanging on. Hey, you know what? But I'm still sober. Right. But I'm still in recovery. I'm still working on this, and I'm still doing this, and that's where my inspiration come from. My inspiration come from you guys, man. We all doing this together. And yeah.
Yep.
It's a we program.
Hey, before we turn it over, JP, do you know why the bicycle couldn't stand up by itself?
Because it didn't have no kickstand.
No, it was too tired.
Yes.
All right, man. So what's going on? Mandy's gonna read something, and her and MJ are gonna talk for a while.
Mandy's gonna read something, yes, and then her and MJ are gonna talk, and Bob was gonna hop on one of the mics and talk with him because all he did was request.
Yeah, he can. He can. He can. So Mandy, read your thing, and then Bob's gonna sit in my spot.
Oh, I'm gonna read my thing. Hi, everybody. My name's Mandy, and I'm in recovery.
Hello, Mandy.
Hey, all right. So when I thought of the show tonight, I thought of what a Christmas wish would be, and I found a beautiful little poem that reminded me when I came into the rooms and I was like a shell of who I was, and not knowing who yet I was gonna be. When I read this poem, this made me think of what it meant for all the people that loved me before I knew how to love myself. And it's called Christmas Wishes, and it's by Julie Hebert.
I have a Christmas wish, and this wish is just for you. I wish for only happiness to come and be with you. I wish that you will never know how unhappiness feels. I wish that love will come your way and you'll fall head over heels. I have a Christmas wish, and I hope it does come true. I wish for you to see all the things the way that I see you. I see you as a whole, the wonderful person that you are. You're kind, considerate, and caring. You're my shining star. I have a Christmas wish, but this one I must not say. As for wishes to come true, I must not say it no matter the day. As for my other wishes, I'm not worried that they've been told. I know you're a wonderful person, and these wishes will be yours as you grow old. A Merry, Merry Christmas to you.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
Thank you. So yeah,
It's a beautiful read.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Okay.
So I want to piggyback. This is Bob Shell, alcoholic. I just want to say something to JP. The truth of the matter is, you've learned that this is a we thing, not a me thing anymore. That's what kept me having a struggle at the very beginning of all this thing.
Right.
We walk in the door thinking that we're terminally unique and we're separate of other people, and no one knows our woes, and I'm different than you, and all those other things. But then once people started pointing out to me that this is a common journey that we need to commence shoulder to shoulder in, things started to change for me, and I no longer had to walk alone in this. And I dropped the terminal uniqueness, and things started to change in my life. And I just celebrated a milestone in my recovery less than a month ago, about 3 weeks ago, and I could not have done it with people such as yourselves. So
That was 25 years.
Yeah, congratulations. He didn't want to say it.
that's a good start, I was told. So,
That's a great start.
yeah. Blessed beyond words to be able to sit amongst my recovery family and my support network that I've built. That's the cool thing about what the big book teaches is, in layman terms, it's broken down in terms that people of the blue collar will say, rather than the thinkers and stuff, they talk about building a solid foundation. And once you build that solid foundation, we lay a cornerstone. Once that cornerstone is laid in place, we can build a wall we can build a program of recovery in which to change, and then we build an archway and add the keystone to that archway to which we walk through freedom. And those are basically the first 3 steps of our recovery, which is realizing powerlessness, coming to believe in something greater than ourselves can restore us to our sanity, and then that third, walking through the archway of freedom, once we place the keystone, which is the most important part of the doorway, which is made out of stone. It's an arch, and there's one stone in the very center of that, and without that keystone, which is the most important part of that archway, if that's not in place, you will not have a proper or a safer and a sturdier doorway or archway to walk through to freedom. So a lot of us miss the spiritual side of recovery. We put a plug in the jug and we start doing these things called the steps, and start putting those into practical application. But a lot of us don't realize the half measures part of that. And we think we're happy, we're running around, and all of a sudden we keep running into ourselves and our old behaviors. And what it is us being full of self, rather than relying on something greater than ourselves to help us. And I love the fact that right now I'm sitting in front of God with skin on. That's my higher power. My higher power works in and through all the people sitting in this room, and myself if I let them. Right. And that's what's given me the good connection, because I see normal things that come out of my mouth about me are me, full of self. But when I'm speaking in front of a crowd and I don't realize what I've said afterward, I know I'm speaking from the heart rather than my head.
Right.
And I believe that my higher power is working in and through me when I let them. And that has become more relevant to me today in my recovery, and I see it happening in people such as yourself, JP. I can't say enough about how proud I am of how far you've come from since I first met you about 2 years ago over at Will Work for Recovery.
Yep.
And I've seen the actions that you've put forth, and that's the thing. I was taught early on, recovery programs are about action. We change our actions and then our thinking changes, rather than most people go to psychiatrists to change their way of thinking first, hoping their actions will change. Recovery teaches us, no, we change our actions and then our thinking follows. That's why you hear it a lot in these programs and in these rooms, bring the body and the mind will follow.
It's because our experiences change. We have a different experience when we do something different, when we have different actions. And so that's why we start to think different, because it's like, oh, okay, well, that wasn't so bad. I did this rather than that. You know, I reached out rather than sitting and doing nothing, you know. So it's so important to do that. And yeah, so awesome.
And it's amazing when your actions change, the new challenges or opportunities that arise from that. Instead of having those experiences that I had in addiction over and over again, I had lessons learned.
Yes.
And it's like I got to, in essence, level up, find out what the next, what the next step is, that next opportunity is, you know.
Right.
And instead of being afraid of what's to come next, it's being excited for it now. It's a
Yes.
beautiful thing.
Right. Yeah, being excited for the unknown. It's like when I changed and did something for the better, I put myself in a position for opportunity.
Right.
And that's the beauty of it. You know, I wasn't expecting it. And by doing something, what I learned too is by doing something good or doing something right and not expecting nothing back in return, puts you in a position for opportunity. It's just like it pushes that dynamic out there, because you're not even doing it for anything else. You're just doing it out the kindness of your heart or just wanting to be better. And that's
getting out of self.
Yeah, getting out of self. And that was a key component to like my whole journey.
I called it warming up for the opera. Me, 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 me. It was all about me, 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 me. And when I dropped the me, 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 and started working and listening to you, the ism I sponsor myself kind of went away. And my life started changing drastically. And once I got hooked in spiritually, it says that you get rocketed into the fourth dimension and things start to really change, and they really did for
So
me.
true.
Yeah,
That's
and that's
true.
what I've seen in you, JP.
Thank you, sir.
Well, and it's an amazing journey, you know, as you see your own growth, but then in sobriety with your sober family as well, getting to watch the growth of everyone else around you. I mean, I'm sitting next to JP here, man, and I remember when we were sitting outside of Woodwork, and you're like, yo, you need to buy a speaker?
Right. We didn't have some times with our family, man. We didn't have some times together, man.
But and I mean, I remember the night that you and I just sat in the car and
Yeah.
we talked for hours,
Yeah.
and it was just beautiful conversation, and it let me know you at like a soul level and understand who you were as an individual and get to see, you know, how alike we were.
Right.
And, you know, when again we all want to think that we're delicate snowflakes, like
Right.
Bob was saying, but at the same time getting to understand, you know, that our stories aren't always so different, and how we can align that and help each other grow through the process. It's a beautiful thing.
And that's what we did. You know, it's like we went down different directions to go down the same path, so to speak. And it's nothing unique. I mean, we are unique, but it's nothing unique about our stories. It's like almost pretty much like the same thing. And when we put together the similarities, man, that's how fellowship happened. That's how, you know, camaraderie started to happen. That's how family started to form.
We had shared
Like
pain,
Cheech
now we
Marin
share
used to
growth.
say, hey man, it's the same thing, but a little bit different. Or he'd say, hey man, someone just ripped off the thing I just ripped off.
It's crazy. But it's
Well,
just,
you guys, we got about 4 minutes
4
for you
minutes.
guys to wrap up your segment, and then Tad and I are going to come on and wrap the show.
Awesome.
okay. But thank you, crickets. Thank you, Bob. It's just an honor, man, to be here in you guys' presence, man. To be in recovery, period. Just to be involved with the recovery community. And it's like, and I think I was talking to my wife about it. It's not something that we just do. It's something that I get to do. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's something that I, you know what I mean, that I want to do. It's something that I'm passionate about. And we blessed to get the chance to do it. You know what I mean? And to give it back to other people and just try to be an example. Right. Change.
And it goes back to what I said before about, people before us who we saw as our examples of showing us how to do this. And we just keep recycling that. We just keep passing that on, which is
sitting right here in front of me.
it's so amazing. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Like opening our home for whatever, for a recovery meeting or for, a safe place for people to be during the holidays, because sometimes families aren't always, cohesive. They're, they're chaos and they need some place to recenter themselves. You know what? Come on over. Bring some coloring books. We have tables, sit down and, whatever. It's going to be just, maybe some games. We'll just,
You can even cuss and color.
We could cuss and color, yes. Yeah, and the thing is that
we have the
that
name of a group that we used to meet at a coffee
Yeah.
shop, the Color and Cuss group.
Yeah, is that people showed me how to do that, and I was always amazed at how many people would show up at their house, and the coffee pot was always on, no matter what, and we get to do that for each other, and we keep passing it on to the next. We don't expect anything, and that's what you were saying, JP. We don't expect anything. It's just, you give because it was given to me.
Right.
That's the beauty of the program. It's always the same message that comes through. It's just a different delivery, and however you get that message, that's what matters. As long as you get the message, that's what's important.
Yeah.
The coolest thing about it is the blessings that we think we want for ourselves or happen to others. If we sit back and let our higher power take over, they don't hold a candle. Our thoughts don't hold a candle to what our higher power does for us in our lives. He continually blows my ship out of the water and goes, "You think you wanted that? Let me give you something of this." And I'm like, "Whoa."
It's funny that you said that, man. That's exactly, God amazes me. My understanding amazes me every day.
Yep.
I didn't even think I was going to be where I'm at today, and this is just the beginning for me.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and
You
it's
ain't
just,
kidding.
it's just an amazing journey, man.
Telling
I
the
never
truth.
imagined none of this.
Yep.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So,
Thank you guys, big time. Thank you guys for
Thank you guys.
running that segment.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks for having us so much.
Thanks
Very
for having
welcome.
us,
This is for
Tim.
tomorrow. Bring that.
Okay, thank you.
Before we get into this, I have a question for Bob. Very serious question. I took the shell off my racing snail to make him go fast, but now he's sluggish.
Because he's escargot.
Perfect.
Because he can escargot.
Yes.
So, you know what, Ted? I know we're going to get to wrapping up. We appreciate you guys holding in, but I would like for you, please, to tell us at least one story for this Christmas
I
time.
do have a story.
Nice.
It's not necessarily a Christmas story either. This is the story of Jessa the Sober House cat. So, there was a little kitty, and her name was Jessa, and she did not belong to a very good home. So, eventually, Animal Protection came in and took Jessa, the cat, and she was alone and scared, and she's a little tabby cat. And so, after that, a very nice sober house manager decided to buy all the sober house cats without the owner's permission. So every sober house got a cat at the sober house at the company, and New Spirit Homes. And so they all had about 2 or 3 cats, actually. Jessa, the sober house cat, was skittish. She had been through trauma. She had been on the streets before in her life, and she had been beaten. Did not live a very nice life. Then this little cat came to live with 20 grown men, drug addicts and alcoholics. And she took all their pain, and she was beaten some more. And she never had a moment of privacy. This cat, anytime she'd lay down, people would pick her up for love, and she took it. And she continued to give herself for 4.5 years. And somewhere halfway through her tenure as a sober house cat, she met a young man who was in recovery, a meth addict, trying to stay sober, and he was depressed, and every night she would go lay with him and snuggle him, and she wasn't a snuggly cat. She wasn't a lap cat, because see, Jessa was always on the defensive, like we are in recovery when we come off the streets. And fast forward about a year, this young man becomes a sober house manager, and he has his dream job at Detox. Well, some things went wrong. He lost his dream job, and the young man was still the sober house manager, but he was depressed and suicidal. And every night he cried, wishing to take the pain away, but still pressing on not to use. This cat saved that young man's life, and she cuddled up with him, and they bonded, something fiercely. A bond that I never thought was possible for a human and a cat. So, well, the young man and the cat for another year and a half continued to help other young men, and old men too, alike, get through the sober house and help them heal. Every day before bed, this young man would look at the cat, he'd kiss her on the forehead and say, "I love you, Jessa. You're the best cat in the whole world, and you're my best friend, and someday I will take you out of this shithole." That's just what he said. And, he said that every day for months and months, what amounted to be a year. And one day, that man got his own place with his girlfriend. And, he moved the sober house cat over there for a night. The cat was always supposed to go back with him when they got the house. But little did he know that the cat did not want to go back in the crate. The young man had his girlfriend try to put the cat back in the crate, and she said no. She said, meow.
Meow.
She said no.
No.
She chewed the young man's girlfriend out and said, "This is my house. Promises were made," essentially. The young man came back a couple hours later and said, "We got to go home for the weekend." And he was the only one who could ever get her in the crate. So he set his girlfriend up for failure, obviously, because he's smart like that. And when he went to put Jessa the sober house cat back, she spread her back legs out and clawed into his arms. And she had not clawed him in a very long time. And she said, "No." And she went back and laid on the bed and said, "This is my home now." And I will tell you something else about Jessa the sober house cat. Since she has lived in this home, she now purrs and lays with her belly open.
Something she never
feels safe.
did?
She never did that before. Jessa the sober house cat is my cat, and she saved my life. And, there's a surprising twist to this. I've told many people how I spoil this cat, how I treat this cat like my daughter. My therapist told me that you are one of the best cat owners I know. You talk to your cat. You treat your cat very well. You and your cat have this thing. We have a bond. The cat watches me and knows how I'm doing. And when I'm not doing good, the cat will wait for me to be by myself, and she will come and snuggle me, or we'll play, or whatever. And I with the cat too. And my therapist looked at me the other day when we were in our session over our Zoom, and she said, "What do you think would happen to your life if you treated your life like you treat the cat? If you did what you do for the cat, for yourself? If you did all those things for yourself, how do you think your life would turn out?" And I pose this question to all of you as we think about Jessa, the sober house cat, who got to retire. She's no longer a sober house cat. She helped many boys and men and endured torture to help them. And some people don't think this, but that weighs on any creature that has to take on everyone's pain. And she's now retired, living with me and Mandy. And you know what? Just, if you have a friend that you treat well, a toy that you treat well, a video game, other people, let's try and treat ourselves that well. Because if I treated everybody, and myself included, like I treated Jessa the sober house cat, oh my gosh, what a wonderful world it would be.
Right.
And with that, I bid you all good night and Merry Christmas. And I want to say we will not be having a New Year's show next week, unless Tim's going to come by himself and do it upstairs.
We're going to be having a New Year's show.
Tim and Matt are doing a New Year's show.
I'm going to be having a New Year's show.
It will be Tim and Matt.
You listen here, audience. I'd never leave you alone on New Year's.
Okay, there you go.
So, Ted, thank you for sharing that. That's a deep-ass story. Yeah, I know. Well,
Merry Christmas, Brother
You
Ted.
shared about something that saved your life. So, yeah, I know MJ's over here rubbing her eyes. Come on, guys. It's the truth, though. Tad just spoke some real truth, and it's a real story. And he's that little boy. He's the boy. I'm glad you did bring it up at the very end there. So, JP, What are you grateful for, man?
Grateful for family. I'm grateful for family, man. Recovery family, church family, my family, you know, and just families, period. You know, because the opposite of addiction is human connection.
Right. Thank you. MJ, what are you grateful for? Talking this little thing here.
First and foremost, I am grateful to know a God in my life. And secondly, I am grateful that I have all of you. And that's it.
Thank you, MJ. Thank you so much. Mandy, lean on over and tell us what you're grateful for.
I'm grateful for a lot. I'm grateful for the holidays, my family, my sober family. I'm grateful for milestones because a week from today, I'm going to be celebrating my 1 year.
Rah, rah. Doing big things in recovery.
Can I get a whoop, whoop, whoop?
So, Ted, I'm about to ask Bob what he's grateful for. What are you grateful for, Bob?
My higher power teaching me what unconditional love is this last year or so. Working hard on it and getting closer to it and being able to grasp what it is. And working hard on showing that through action.
Thank you. Ted, what are you grateful for, my man?
I'm grateful for this show. I'm grateful for this life that I get to live, although it may not be perfect. It's my life, and I fought damn hard for it. And so have the people in my life to help me have it. You, Bob, JP, everybody that's helped me. I can't name the countless people, this Alamo Club, friends, family, my kids, all the people who've had to sacrifice for what I've gone through, just, you know, to help me stand here so that I can bring a little podcast with my friends to bring some joy into this world that can be hard and cold sometimes.
That's right, Tad. That is
Tim.
right.
Tim,
Yeah?
What are you grateful for?
what are you grateful for?
Well, I'm not telling a story here, but I'm gonna bounce off what Tad said there. I, like the boy in his story, have I talk about my mom every week on this show. And that's like it sounds bad. I'm trying to word this right. She's like my cat. My mom has been there for me through thick and thin. I'm not going to go down the hole of that rabbit hole. I've told you guys for 57 shows in a row now what my mother means to me, my family means to me. I had my brother give me a special shirt today for Christmas. Like this thing he's been wolfing up for 2-3 months, had got it online from China or some like, and it tested his patience. I know it did because I've been hearing about it. My mom's been hearing about it, like this gift. And he gives it to me so proud. And it's times like this throughout the year. Like tonight it was my mom, my dad, my brother, and me. And it's, you know, during these times, you know, holidays, like I know you guys spent with Gretchen, like we deal with loss and all you can do is move forward. And sometimes we only have our recovery friends, our community, or the things we've built in our life that can hold us up through those times. Try to find some joy in it, happiness in it. And tonight I got to have a, I don't know, just the immediate family, the four of us, we got to celebrate it, and it was happy. It was good. We exchanged a few gifts here and there, but watching my brother be excited to give me this shirt, and I put it on right away and wear it to the show, and I had him all gassed up over it, and he better be listening. But if he's not, it is what it is. But it's things like that I'm grateful for, being able to be present in these moments, being able to recognize things like that when they do happen. Hearing a best friend talk about a situation that I don't know if he'd have been comfortable in early recovery talking about, being able to open up, things of that nature. JP and MJ and Bob and Mandy and the 30 people that came through tonight to support this show and talk to the recovery community. So anyone listening, I'm grateful for all of those things, and just know that if you're struggling, you need to reach out. You need to let someone know you're struggling. We're not going to be able to read your mind, but you're not alone. Listen to what we've been sharing about all night. We laugh, we cry, we do what we can to get through, and we do it together. You can't do this shit alone. Don't think you can, because you don't have to. You're not alone, and you're loved. I love you.
I love you too.
There you go. And most of all, the quiet boss lady behind the computers, love. Elena, because you're not hopping on, I'll say it for you. I'm grateful for the weekend.
Elena's grateful for the weekend.
She's grateful for
We're
the
grateful
weekend.
for Elena.
We're grateful for the weekend. So, until a couple hours before the New Year's, which will probably be a pretty small show. Not even sure we're doing a full 2 hours.
So you're gonna have to get here before
Yeah.
8.
And it's gonna be
Between 8 and
yes.
8:30. Get everything
Yes,
upstairs.
yes,
get out
yes,
of their
yes,
way.
yes, I know. And I'm going to be bringing a couple special guests in recovery, out of recovery, whatever case is. I'll be having people here for the New Year's.
Heck yeah.
It's going to be a shindig.
If you want to find someone to, you can probably.
I got
some
some
NA people.
No, I got some people lined up already. So, with that, everyone, you have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
Happy
Christmas.
holidays.
Happy holidays to
from all-
everybody.
No,
Yeah.
happy
Merry Christmas, happy
Christmas.
holidays,
From
everybody.
all
Thank you
of us
guys
at
for listening.
2218, the Attitude for Gratitude, and Minneapolis, Minnesota, and all of the recovery down here. We wishing you the best, a safe holidays. Like Tim said, you're not alone. We love you.
You're
Reach
not
out.
alone. We love you.
We will see you later, and I will see you guys next year, as I won't be here.
Yes, and I'll see you next week, and I love you. Rah, rah.
Rah, rah.
Rah, rah.